Another week down. I thought it was a good week for us. I want to thank the fans. 3 great crowds. We had good weather, and the energy was really good. I had text messages after the series of people that came out and just enjoyed everything. The music, the ballpark energy, the concessions, and so kudos to the admin and the operations people. I thought it was a home field advantage. I really did. I thought that we were loud. The lines down the lines and in the grandstand, it was full, and that's what we want. It just makes your team play better, and so I thought our players were very appreciative. The student deck full after the Saturday game. I thought it was a special moment for the team to go out there and greet the students, and so really good job. All week we talked about just expecting to win. All right, and that doesn't mean just your hand out and it's going to be given to you. It's expecting to execute the pitch, expecting to get your swing off, and expecting to play good defense. And I thought our guys really took that on. We used the week to kind of get our legs underneath us. We were very light, did a lot of group work. I was proud of the coaches. I thought the preparation all week leading into the series with Texas State was just professional and really good. Our guys are physical, in shape, and just kind of get that breath back after an 18-game sprint to open the season. And I scheduled it that way on purpose just because I didn't know the team, and we had to figure out who could do what on the mound. And we used the bullpen gate didn't open up very much this weekend, and that's a good thing. It means you're doing what you need to on the mound. And so game one, I thought we took advantage of an error in the first inning, and that's what good teams do. With Haggard, he's the ground ball to third, and he runs a hard 90 every single time. And I think defenses are starting to see that about us. We're going to apply pressure that way. And Dane Ray gets the 2 RBI double there in the first. And so I thought it was pretty good. Took advantage of it. And in the second inning, we go single homer by Haggard, and that's exactly what Haggard is in the order. I want a big physical piece right there. He's been taking really good ABs, and he's been clutch. He's been clutch. I'm really proud of him, playing good defense, leading the locker room, so that was good to see. Broadnax competed, didn't have his sharpest stuff. He knows that. He's going to continue to get better. The consistent thing with him is he is going to compete and find a way. And he got his 4 innings. And, Tubbs came in, and he had some walks there, but he ate up 3 1/3. And then Sheets on the end there, same thing. Those guys ate up the outs. And so, please, overall, just, we have to continue to eliminate mistakes. I thought the pitching staff did a really good job. I think it was only 6 walks on the weekend. And so if we can continue to just eliminate, freebies, we'll continue to move in the right direction. But proud of the offense, jumping up big. 8 of the 9 hitters had hits that first game. Mosey had 3 of them. He just continues to play really hard and does everything we ask him to do. Having the best year of his career, and that's what we told him when we were recruiting him back in June. Like, this is going to be the best year. You fit what we do offensively, so proud of him. He's going to keep going. Game 2, we knew Texas State would come out and fight. They're a well-coached team, very talented. I thought they would throw a punch. I told our team, listen, when they do it, we just have to respond. We have to keep responding. And so, again, I thought the first inning, they jump up 2-0. But, again, that's where just the free 90s we've got to continue to clean up, because we had first and second, 1 out, and we throw a wild pitch. And we can't find the baseball, and all of a sudden it's second and third, so we move Micah Dean out of double play depth, and then it's a single to his glove side about 3 steps, where it would have been a tailor-made double play. But we got those double plays the next couple of innings. I thought it was a really good job. Corley got his 5 innings. And for us to get down, and then we take the lead 4-2, I believe, and I liked the conversations and the determination in the dugout. We lose the lead 5-4, and it's like we never wavered. Okay, and we were able to keep the game right there. Where that was getting us early in the year was that kind of just unravels, and we get behind big. And so I thought the team adjusted right there. Zach White had the homer. Just continues to do what he does offensively. Physical, keeps improving. It's hard when you're catching every inning right now, okay, to continue to be, good in the box, but he was. And so he's been very coachable. He's a very loyal player. Proud of him. But I just thought the inning that, we kind of busted it out, like what a beautiful inning with Mosey, starting it off with the single, and then Blazer, gets the double down the line, just a hard hit ball, and Mosey's able to score from first. Like his speed element right there takes over, being able to score. And then Haggard, we get that arm out of the game. That was a really good arm. And then Haggard, first pitch, hits the double, just again, clutch. So, we're slugging. That's what I want. And then, bases loaded knock by DuPont. And it was a really good read by Dane Ray at second base. So you see all the homers, and everything that Dane Ray is getting accolades for right now. But not a lot of people see that read off the bat. That was a bang play at the plate, and it started with he knew where the outfield was playing. He knew it was down off the bat. And so that's an element to the game that makes Dane Ray special right there, reading that. And so, great. We had not won a game like that yet. So that was a special thing about Saturday. Just really proud of the team, and they showed up. We talk about winning Sundays no matter what. If you're avoiding to get swept, if you're trying to win a series, or if you're trying to sweep a team, we take pride in winning on Sundays and to come out. And just really proud of the hitters. All of those hits in the first inning, I believe, were with 2 strikes. They're just balled in. They're hard to kill. And, to put up 8 in the first, now you have to go out there and just, invite contact. And I thought J.C. Dermody did exactly that. Didn't walk anybody. Did what we needed him to do, move the game along. And so he was minimizing the damage. Texas State would get going, and he would stop it right there, whether it was 1 run. I think they had a 2-run inning in there. But he minimized it, and it could have been big, crooked numbers, and we kind of kept it to where it needed to be. And so, really proud of the team. Again, yesterday, 8 of the 9 hitters in the lineup had hits. DuPont didn't have one, but he had really crucial ABs. Moving the baseball, runner at third, less than 2, the sacrifice bunt. And so, overall on the weekend, just really proud of the offense. Being able to hit 380 as a team with 17 doubles and 5 homers. Like that's, I want an offense that can slug. And it starts with the approach. I thought Coach Schatzberger and Coach Lartigue did a wonderful job preparing the hitters. And, the speed element also, when the opportunity presented itself to steal some bases, we did it. So we had 7 bags on the weekend and didn't get caught once. And so, it was a good weekend. We have to continue to get better. The worst thing we can do is to think that we've done something. This league will humble you quickly, okay? And so we have to stay focused. We have to recognize what we have to get better at, and that's eliminating free runners, okay? And so, again, we got to turn our attention. I want our guys to get fresh. We're going to have a good lift today, and we'll do some group work over the next 2 days, continue to, develop our players. We have guys in the lineup that are guys that are not in the lineup that are they're going to be crucial pieces to like guys like Jackson Landry and Dean Hanna and Sutton Lewis. So like these guys have to continue to stay ready. And Jackson was great all weekend, ready to pinch hit, and just staying ready for when your name is called. And so we've got to continue to stay sharp. We've got to continue to improve on the mound. And I think our guys understand that. We're going to host UNO on Wednesday, a team that has a really good coaching staff, and we're familiar with them. We've played them down in New Orleans weekend 2, so they'll be ready to go. And we need to be ready to go as well. Hopefully we have a good crowd here for a Wednesday midweek game. A good opportunity for our hitters to continue to stay sharp in the middle of the week, something that we didn't have last week, but at the time, obviously we needed to get our legs underneath us relative to this week. And then just from a little bit of what I've seen this morning from South Alabama, it's going to be a really good team. Okay, a really good team. They can really pitch. They don't walk you. Just kind of watching on film, I think the catcher's a little spark plug. They play really good infield defense, and they have some dangerous hitters, and they're going to play that way in their park. Obviously it's I've been there before, but I haven't been since it's been turf and renovations, and so I know Mark Calvey's a really good head coach, someone that I've kind of noticed my whole coaching career, just kind of watching from afar. So they're going to do a really good job. It's going to be a really good series. They're going to be they just played UL Lafayette. They're going to be looking to bounce back. So it's going to be a good series, and we need to be ready to go. And so, but overall, just want to thank the fans for the weekend, and again thank the admin, and we've got to continue to get better. So, questions?
A lot of people surprised about this weekend. I got to take it. You saw this coming, or at least this potential out of this team.
Oh well, we just talked about all week. Like I wanted to send the message all week. Like, listen, we're a good club, okay? We have to continue, we need to change our thoughts on some stuff. Expect to make the pitch. Expect to get the swing off. Just expect things to happen, okay? Because we can do it, and people kind of look at the record and whatever, I kind of scheduled like an idiot, all right? But I did it just because, you have to eat up these innings. I didn't know this team. I really didn't, You can kind of figure it out through inter squads sometimes, but you have your fall exhibitions, but everyone is kind of scripted, and I really didn't know on the mound. And so, I did think if we could get our legs back underneath us and kind of catch our breath a little bit, that we could have a competitive. We're going to play hard, okay? That's non-negotiable with our guys, and I thought we played hard all weekend. And so, it's really hard to sweep. I'm proud of the guys to show up on Sunday like that, ready to go. And that's a good ball club. Like Texas State is good. They can really hit. They're going to play differently in their park probably than they played a little bit this weekend. You're going to look up. They're going to be there at the end. It's a really good coaching staff. I really liked my conversations with Steve and Trout. But probably turn some heads a little bit, but it's a good thing. If you're getting everyone's best shot, that means you're playing really good baseball and you're a good club. So we have to continue to do that and keep going.
Yeah, it could be humbling. You feel like teams can maybe get a little bit of a swagger. Maybe this weekend will certainly help.
Yeah, I think so. I saw it when we were down in the middle of the game Saturday night. There was zero panic. Our guys just kept playing, and what we talked about, expect to win this game. And then I started hearing them repeat it, which is kind of a special moment. And so, it's a game it's a game of failure, like you always hear. But our guys kept punching. And, if you keep the absolutes about who we are, the way we're going to play, you're always going to kind of be in there. You just got to keep punching, and like you said, it'll humble you quickly. It's good teams stacked up weekend after weekend now, and even tough midweeks. And so, it was good to see. I do feel some confidence in there, and that's what you want. That's all you can ask for is some, guys are balled in. They are. And so we got to keep going and continue to get better.
You ran through the offensive numbers. Incredible. Mike pointed out only used 6 pitchers the entire weekend. I mean, that's got to be really a positive thing.
Absolutely. Just because, we had not been pitching it well, and, we kind of tweaked some things we were doing during the week, just kind of focusing more on group work and, getting more hands-on with some guys. Coach Cox is a really good pitching coach. He really is. And he's going to figure out what guys can do well. He's going to challenge guys. He has very mature conversations with our pitchers. And so, that was good to see. And so what we need to do is have those guys that weren't in the game this weekend be ready to go and stay sharp on Wednesday. And, it was kind of good for, those pitchers that didn't get their name called this weekend. Guys like Roark, just kind of seeing what went on, just eliminating free passes in the box, and so, we knew Texas State wanted to swing, okay? They like to get their swing off, I think we kind of took advantage of that a little bit, and so it was really good to see, and so if we can eliminate the freebies in other ways, I like Sheets coming in, he had the hit by pitch, and that was his free runner. But again, he was pitching in contact late in that game to move the game along, and I really like that. And so there's area for improvement everywhere. There's still guys that we're trying to get back. Like I need Justin Robinson's arm talent in there. That's 94 to 95. He threw last week in the middle. We had some live ABs just trying to get him back, and it's exceptional. How can we do that between the lines when the game's there? That's our next step for him. You still have Stramiska. That is, you saw him at Arlington. He didn't throw this weekend. That's a guy I really like out there, veteran, big body. Dabbs has been really good as a freshman. So there's some guys, there's some dogs in the pen that are hungry. And when they get their name called Wednesday, they need to be ready to go. But to answer your question, yes, proud of the pitching staff and what they did this weekend. But we got to try to limit. We gave us some hits. If we can still execute pitches a little bit better with 2 strikes, get some contact earlier, you'll see us improve even more.
Wanted to ask about the big moments this weekend. There's a lot of veterans. I mean, it was Bryce Blazer, Jake Haggard, Cade DuPont. It was Colton Hess giving you 4 innings. It was Marcus Arando with the walk-off yesterday. We've talked about it a lot, their buy-in, but just how important is it to see it in a game come through, and for guys like Bryce to have that moment pumping up the crowd and they make a pitching change and doing things like that?
that's what you want out of veteran players. You know, those guys have 1 year left here, and so you know, I've made it known in the team meetings and stuff. Like, listen, I want to win for everyone in this room, but guys that have been loyal to ULM and have maybe been through the ringer at some point or another here in their time here, like it's even more special for guys like that. And the moment you bring up a Bryce Blazer, like, yeah, that was awesome. The crowd was into it. You could see his emotion coming out. He doesn't do that a lot. He's pretty even keel. Just goes about his business. You know, I don't really say a word to him in batting practice. Where every other hitter, we're kind of on. You know, he's just a veteran. He's earned that right. So that was great to see. And him and the other ones you named, just the seniors, like they kind of took over, and that's what you want. And it helps your younger players see that and develop, which is what we're trying to do. There's 9 in the order every game, but there's other hitters on the bench. You want to continue to develop them, and that helps develop them when they're able to see that, and just the passion that those guys were just wearing on their sleeve. It was special to see. And so really good question. Our veterans they're pushing the group, they're leading the group, okay? And then days when they don't have it, you can kind of think back to some games earlier in the year where like the Weathorns step up, and Micah Dean, like he's a young player too. And so yeah, it's good to see.